Hey there, welcome to LC Yoga. My name is Laura, and today is a Vinyasa foundational flow. So if you're looking for a beginner yoga class where you want to move and get nice and stretched out, or if you are a seasoned practitioner and you just want to work on some deep, slow basics, this one's for you. So if you're ready, get on your mat and I'll meet you there. We'll begin today in a forward fold. So step to the front of the mat, feet about hip distance apart. Bend into the knees and start to fold over your legs. And let the knees be as bent as they need to be here. You're more concerned about getting the rib cage on your thighs. And the fingertips can be on the floor, on your feet, maybe even resting your elbows on your knees. Whatever feels good. Just let the head get heavy toward the floor and then start to turn the sit bones up toward the sky and let that be what starts to lengthen the legs. Crown of the head and the sit bones reaching away from each other. Start to deepen the breath. Now on your next inhale, come about halfway up, pressing the fingertips into the ground just so you can heel toe your feet out to the edges of the mat and turn your toes out. And we're going to drop the hips down so we can come into a squat, maybe rocking side to side. Take it easy on the knees. Bring the elbows into the knees, press them away. Maybe the hands are in prayer or floating out in front of you. And just let the hips sink. Maybe close the eyes. Just grounding into practice as we're just getting started. Bring the fingertips to the floor, lift the hips a little bit, and then step your left foot back into a lunge. So you're in lizard pose. Drop the hips low. Your right foot is on the outside of your hands, outside of the right shoulder. You can place the hands on a block or maybe just the arms stay straight here. You can come down on your elbows if you like. You can drop that back knee if that feels better. Lots of options here. If you want to get deeper into it, let your left hand go off the mat to the left and reach your right fingertips forward, like Spider-Man. Lift that back knee and you'll add a nice side stretch in with a hip opening. Deep breaths. One more big breath here. And then on your next exhale, press the hands into the ground, rock it forward back into that squat. Pressing the elbows into the knees. And you can hang out here or take a little side stretch. You're going to let the left fingertips go out toward the left, pressing that knee away. Press the right hand into your right knee and start to twist toward the right. And you can let the right arm float up if that feels good on the shoulder. And then come back to center. And take that on the other side, right fingertips out, twisting toward the left. Maybe the hand goes up, maybe it stays on your knee. Over time, that'll open up nicely. It gets nice and gets easier and easier. Come on back to center. Press the fingertips into the ground, lift the hips slightly, and step the right foot back into a lunge. So you're in lizard on the other side. Knee can be up or down. Find the arm position that works for you. Just get heavy in the hips. Breathing deep. Maybe reaching forward with the left hand, right fingers off the mat toward the right. Couple of ways to get open. You can warm the body and then stretch into that, which we're going to be doing in a minute. Or you can breathe deep, focusing on the tissues you're trying to open. So breathe into the hips, maybe the front of the right thigh, and let it open. Drop that back knee if you lifted it up. Rock it forward, stepping to the front of the mat. Heel toe the feet in, about hip distance apart. Take a deep breath in as you reach the crown of the head forward, halfway lift. And then exhale and fold. Knees are bent. Do that thing again where you turn the tailbone up toward the sky. Crown of the head goes down. And bending deep into the knees, start to come on up to stand, slow motion, reaching the arms out to the sides and up toward the sky. And then down, hands in prayer in front of the heart. And close the eyes. And now we'll get warmed up with some sun salutations. Inhaling, sweep the arms out to the sides and up. Reach tall. Palms together, bend the knees, start to fold forward. Inhale, reach the crown of the head forward, spine gets long. And then exhaling, plant the hands, step one foot back, both feet back. You're in a plank. Knees up or down, lower down, chaturanga. Bend the elbows. And press it up, roll over the toes, upward dog. You can also take cobra here. And curl the toes under, pull it back, downward dog. Deep breaths in downward dog. One more big breath. Knees can be bent. Press the fingertips into the ground. Hips go up and away from that. And then on your next inhale, step back to the front of the mat. Crown of the head reaches forward, long spine. And exhaling, bow forward. Forward fold. Bend the knees and inhale, come on up to stand. Reach the arms out and up. Palms together. Let all the air out. Hands in prayer in front of the heart. That's one sun salutation A. We're going to do that 2 more times. Inhaling, sweep the arms out and up. Exhaling, bow it forward, all the way into forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhaling, plant the hands, step it back to a plank. Knees up or down, lower down, chaturanga. If you come all the way down, lift into cobra as you inhale. Curl the toes under and exhale it into downward dog. Three big breaths here. That's one. One more. And then on your next inhale, bring it back to the front of the mat. Getting long to prepare, and then exhaling as you fold. Inhaling, bring it on up to stand, reach up, get tall, and exhale back to center. Last time like this, inhaling, sweep it up. Exhaling, bow it forward. Inhale, crown of the head reaches. Exhaling, step back to a plank, lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, press up into upward dog or cobra. And exhaling, downward dog. Last breath here. And then inhaling, step it back to the front of the mat. Reach it forward, deep breath in. Exhaling and bow. Inhaling, stand it up, reach up. And exhale back to center. Close the eyes here, or look down the nose. Come back to the breath. Feeling warm. And we're going to get a little warmer. Sun Salutation B. So this time, bend the knees and sweep the arms up into chair pose. Deep breath in. And exhale, straighten the legs, tilt forward, forward fold. Inhaling, halfway lift, crown of the head reaches forward. And exhaling, step back into your plank, lower down chaturanga, knees up or down. Inhaling, cobra or up dog. Exhaling, downward dog. Inhaling, step your right foot forward into a lunge, lower the back heel. Come all the way up into warrior one. And as you exhale, bring the hands down by the front foot. Step back to your plank. Lower down again, chaturanga. Inhaling, cobra or up dog. Exhaling, down dog. Same thing left side. Left foot steps forward, lower the back heel. Inhaling, rise up, warrior one. Exhaling, come all the way back down. Inhaling, cobra or up dog. Exhaling, down dog. 3 big breaths. And each time you inhale, press the fingers into the mat. And as you exhale, lift the hips up and away. Inhaling the hips up, exhaling the heels down. Heels can be floating, they don't have to be on the ground, and your knees can be bent, downward dog. On your next inhale, step it back to the front of the mat. Exhaling and bow. Inhaling, bend the knees, sweep the arms up, chair pose. And exhaling, stand, bring the hands back into prayer. And we'll do that one more time. Inhaling, bend the knees, chair pose. Exhaling and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale it back to a plank and all the way into chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog or cobra, your choice. Exhaling, downward dog. Right foot steps, back heel lowers, warrior one. Exhaling, bring the hands down by the front foot, all the way into chaturanga. Inhaling, heart lifts. Exhaling, hips up. Left foot steps, back heel lowers, and as you inhale, warrior one. Exhaling all the way down. Inhaling to lift. Exhale, down dog. And breathe. If you want to add a little shoulder stretch, start to press the chest through the shoulders. Maybe bend the knees a little more as you do this. And then come back to your regular downward dog. Inhaling, step it forward to the front of the mat, get long. Exhaling and bow. Bend the knees, inhale, chair pose, and exhale back to center. Close the eyes and come back to the breath. And then we'll move into our standing pose flow. So from here, just start to step your left foot back. So you're in a warrior one position. So your back heel is lowered, arms reach up, warrior one. And your front thigh does not have to be parallel to the mat. How about you? But I'm breaking a little sweat. Press the chest up and away from the back heel. Strong warrior one, shoulders are away from the ears. Left knee is pressing a little bit over toward the left. That takes the pressure out of the knee. Deep breath in here. And then turn the belly toward the right as your back foot turns with you. Spread the arms out into a T shape and you're in warrior two. Thighs are pressing away from each other, tailbone slightly tucked. And then on your next inhale, sweep it into reverse warrior. So your right arm goes down, your back leg, left arm up overhead, side bend. Breathe and open. And then coming out, start to shift the hips towards your back foot as your front leg starts to straighten. Doesn't have to straighten. And your left hand goes down your left shin. Triangle pose. Now keep that knee bent. We want the torso nice and flat. We don't want to round to the side. It's not a side stretch. But press the left hand down and then open your right arm like a wing. That's triangle pose. Pelvis is tilted toward the front of the mat. Your hand can go lower if your body lets you in. Maybe reaching the arm overhead. One more big breath here. And then as you exhale, start to bend into that left knee and turn toward that foot. So you're framing the front foot with your fingertips. Your back heel comes up off the ground. And we're going to come into pyramid pose. So you might want to step that back foot in a little. And then as you inhale, reach the crown of the head forward, knee is bent. And then exhale, pull the hips back and away from the front foot. And each breath, you're pressing your front toes into the ground with your inhale. The exhale, the hips lift back and away. And then on your next inhale, rock it forward and step to the front of the mat. Bend the knees and inhale into a chair pose. And exhale, come on up to stand. And we'll take all that to the other side. So stepping back with the left foot this time. Warrior one. Inhaling the arms up. You can keep them straight up if you like. Maybe add some cactus arms if you want to stretch the shoulders, or even interlacing the fingers behind the back. And pull those shoulders open. Whenever I do this, I like to turn my fingers out. So I turn my palms out. So if you start to straighten the arms and then twist, if your arms will do this, twist your palms toward the back of the mat. And that adds a nice opening in my shoulders. Not required, totally optional. Wherever you are, reach the arms up toward the sky. Deep breath in, and then as you exhale, turn the belly toward the left, maybe adjusting the feet, warrior two. This time, the front knee going over toward the right, just a little. Crown of the head, sit bones away from each other, long spine. And then on your next inhale, sweep it into reverse warrior. You're pressing your armpit away from your back foot. And then starting to tilt into triangle pose. So hips going toward the back of the mat. Right arm comes down, palm to the shin. Knee can be bent. And we're tilting the pelvis, so we're keeping the knee bent as much as we need to make that happen. Reach the left arm up, maybe looking up at that left thumb. I always seem to rest my hand on my ankle here, but that just feels good for me. So you might want it on your foot, the floor, or your shin. But come up as high as you need to keep that side waist long. Both sides of your side waist. Deep breath in here. And then as you exhale, bend into the front knee and start to turn toward that foot, framing the foot with your fingertips, and your left heel comes up. Step it in a little bit and let's pull the hips back into pyramid pose. Inhaling to get a long spine, crown reaches forward. Exhaling to bow. And on your next inhale, rock it forward, step to the front of the mat. Inhaling, long spine, exhaling and fold. Bend the knees, sweep it into chair pose as you inhale. Exhaling back to center. Stand it up. One more time, chair pose, inhaling. Reach it up. And this time bring your hands to your hips. Step your left foot back into a lunge, maybe teetering a little, and lower that knee to the ground. But don't just drop it down there. You want to kind of lift by lifting your hips up and forward. So we're not dropping a lot of weight into that back knee. A nice stretch in the front of the left thigh and psoas muscle, which goes up and in toward the spine. You can lift the arms up on Janiyasana, low lunge. Pressing the chest away from the back toes. Take a deep breath in here. And then as you exhale, bring the hands down by the front foot, shift the hips back and lift the front toes. And you're in a half split. Breathing into the back of that leg. If you want to add a little bit for the outside of the leg, start to walk the hands over toward the right. The outside of the left, or the outside of the right foot. And then if you walked over toward the right, come back to center. And on your next inhale, bend into your front knee and drop the hips. Keep the fingertips on the floor. Exhale, pull back, half split. Inhale to come forward. Exhale to pull back. One more time like that. Inhaling and exhaling. This time as you come forward, drop the hips down. We're going to curl the back toes under if they're not already and lift the back knee off the ground. Get your toes under you there because we're going to come on up into a high lunge. Reaching the arms up. And as you take a deep breath in, lower the back knee and hover it. You're getting a nice stretch in the front of that thigh. As you exhale, come on up to stand, straightening both legs. Maybe bring the hands in prayer in front of the heart. 2 more times like that. Inhaling, dropping the back knee, hover it, chest up. Exhaling, legs straighten, hands in prayer. Inhaling, lower the knee, reach the arms up. Exhaling, straighten the legs, hands in prayer. Bring the hands down by the front foot, step forward. Inhaling to get long. and exhaling to bow. Bend the knees and inhale into chair pose. And then come right back down as you exhale into forward fold. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Bend the knees and inhale back into chair pose. This time bring the hands to the hips. Step the right foot back into a lunge and lower the knee down. Again, pressing the hips forward and up so that you're kind of curling the tailbone a little bit, lifting up and out of that knee. Reach the arms up toward the sky. Deep breath in. Press the chest away from the back toes. And then as you exhale, fingertips down by the front foot. Pulling the hips back. Front toes go up toward the sky, half split. And you can hang out there, maybe bring the hands over toward the left. Wherever you are, come back to the front, hands framing the front foot. And as you inhale, drop the hips, bend the knee, coming forward into low lunge. Exhaling, pulling back, half split. 2 more times like that. Inhaling forward, exhaling back. Inhale and exhale. This time as you come forward, curl those back toes under and lift the back knee. Get your toes under you nice and solid. Find your feet. And then come on up into a high lunge. Teetering is fine. Deep breath in, high lunge. Deep breath out. This time as you breathe in, drop the back knee about 1 inch from the floor or so. And as you exhale, straighten the legs, hands in prayer. 2 more times. Inhaling, knee lowers, arms up. Exhaling, back to center. Last time. Inhale and exhale. Now this time bring the hands down by the front foot, plant the hands, and step back to a down dog. Press the chest through the shoulders, bend the knees, adding a bit of a back bend here. And then lower the knees to the floor and come on up to stand on your knees. And we'll do some camel poses to open that front body. So in camel pose, we want the toes curled under, and we're going to scoot the hips back out behind us, curl the tailbone, and then come on up to stand. And that's just a way to press the hips forward. We want to keep doing that to keep the lower back nice and long. Because when we bend back, we want to aim the curve into the upper spine. So press your hands into your waist or lower back. Keep those hips pressing forward and then extend your heart up toward the sky. And look up. And this may be your camel pose right here. If that doesn't feel like much, you may want to reach back for your heels, but it's not required. If you do that, press the hips forward, keeping the lower back long, 0 crunching. If you feel any crunching, you got to come up out of it. You keep looking up toward the sky, or maybe the head goes back. Only if it feels really good. If it doesn't, skip it. And then wherever you are, come on up. Bring the tops of the feet to the ground, sit back on the heels. Close the eyes. And rest your hands on your thighs, palms up. And find the breath. Come back to neutral in the spine. we're going to do that again. So curling the toes under, come up to stand on the knees. Pressing the hips forward, maybe scoot those hips behind you, curl the tailbone, and come on back up. Hands into the lower back, fingertips up or down. Press the chest up. Camel pose. Maybe reach back for the heels. Pressing the hips forward continuously, aiming that curve into the upper spine. And then wherever you are, release it. Tops of the feet to the floor, sit back on the heels, close the eyes. Back bends create energy. Enjoy the ride. We'll do that one more time. So come on up. Find your camel pose, pressing the hips forward, lower back long. Chest going up and away from the feet. Any crunching, come up out of it, skip it. Maybe rest in child's pose. And then release, come on up. Sit back on the heels, close the eyes. We call them back bends, but they should be called front body openers because that's what we're trying to do. We're not trying to crunch into the back. So our goal is not to create a deep back bend. Our goal is to stretch the front body. So once you find that stretch, that's where you need to be. Don't worry about what it looks like or how far back you're bending, because that's how we injure ourselves. How far back you can bend depends on a few things, and one of those major things is your genetics, your anatomy. Your spine will only bend so far. Others may bend a lot further than yours, and that's okay. Now slowly open the eyes, bring the hands forward, and let's take a little child's pose just to release the back even more. So shift the hips back and maybe let the knees go wide. They can stay together. I'm just going to drape the torso over the legs. Maybe rest the forehead here on your hands or the floor. And just breathe into the back, let it get long. And slowly lift the head up and the hips. Walk the knees forward and roll over your heels, and we'll take some forward folds. We're almost done. We're just going to stretch it out and then rest in Shavasana. Plant your heels into the ground and then scoot the hips back and away from that, leaving the knees as bent as they need to be. And just like we did in standing, we want to get the rib cage closer to the thighs. That's what we're going for. So keep the knees as bent as they need to be to make that happen. Straighten the legs by pulling your hips back, maybe rocking side to side. Inhale to get a long spine and press your chest forward. So we're not trying to get our nose on our shins. We're trying to get our chest toward our toes. And that creates a healthier stretch. And we're not folding or stretching or pulling into the back. Deep breaths. And then press the hands into the ground. Come on up. Bring the bottoms of the feet together, knees out to the side for Baddha Konasana. Same thing, kind of rock the hips so you can scoot them out behind you, tilt your pelvis forward. You keep your fingertips behind if that helps press the chest forward. And if your body lets you in, you can bring the hands forward, but keep that action going, the lower back long, chest forward. And then just let gravity do its thing. Breathe into the hips, long and slow. And walk the hands back up. Scoot the hips forward so you can roll down onto your back. And then we're just going to take a couple of twists. So draw your knees in toward the chest. You can take your favorite twist here. So let the arms go out into a T shape. And maybe you just take both knees over toward the left. If the knees are floating, maybe place something underneath, but you want to keep your both shoulders on the ground. And if that feels good, hang out there. If that doesn't feel like much, you may want to straighten the bottom leg and draw the top knee across with your left hand. Look to the right. Pressing your left shoulder into the ground to keep your right one on the ground. Close the eyes. Get long in the side waist. Wherever you are, in your next inhale, come on back to center and we'll just take the other side. So whichever twist you took on the left, take that on the right. Look left. Both shoulders on the ground, get long in the left side waist. Then release that. Come on back to center. Stretch your legs out. Feet about the width of the mat. Snuggle your shoulders under so they're comfortable. Hands flop open, feet flop open. Shavasana. Close the eyes and rest. Just let everything sink into the earth. Let the breath do whatever it wants. But you may want to take a couple of sighing breaths just to release whatever might still be holding in your mind or your body. So if you want to do that, inhale through the nose. And then exhale through the mouth and sigh it out. I'm going to do one more of those. Inhaling. And then let something go. Now when you're ready, Start to bend into the knees and place the bottoms of the feet on the floor. Knees up toward the sky. Maybe bring your hands to your upper thighs. Start to deepen the breath. And draw your knees in toward the chest. Give them a squeeze. And then make your way up to sit. Find a comfortable seat. Simple cross-legged, maybe half lotus. Spine is long, backs of the hands to the knees, thumb and forefinger touch. Close the eyes. Notice how you feel. The gift of Vinyasa Yoga is that it kind of wrings us out. We build energy and then stretch through that, and that just works tension out of the body. And we'll just end with a little gratitude. Hands in prayer in front of the heart. Thank yourself for taking the time to step on your mat. Thank your body for allowing you to do so. And thank your breath for leading the way. Namaste. Thanks for joining me. If you enjoyed today's class and you're looking for more, join me over on lcyoga.com. There you're going to find lots of classes and content that doesn't exist here on YouTube. Longer classes, complete beginner series, intermediate flows, lots of content that is commercial free and exclusive to the website. So if you're ready, join me on lcyoga.com and I'll meet you there.